Guys, it has been a year, a whole calendar year since I've stopped going to the gym, since we were all forced to stop going to the gym since lockdown. I know it's gonna vary by state and region, country, county, all that, whether your gyms have reopened previously and then closed back down or just stayed closed for this whole past year. For where I'm at in the Bay Area, it has been a year since I have stepped foot in a gym. Ironically, yesterday was the first day that my gym opened back up at Planet Fitness and go because I just decided to go on a run outside. But it's kind of weird and surreal that it's actually been a full year without the gym. Yeah, so today I'm just gonna be talking about that. It's kind of like chatting, blabbering on about my thoughts, my realizations, some things that I miss, some things that I realize I don't really miss, all of that good stuff of what I've learned. I've never actually gave like a full fitness journey type of video before because I didn't feel like it was necessary for me. I wasn't on like a particular journey to become something. I don't know, I just didn't feel like it was necessary. I guess today we will kind of uncover a little bit of that, just through the process of me talking about my gym journey. Yeah, if you guys are interested to hear about this, then keep on watching. So quickly, I guess a little background, or maybe not quickly, who knows how long this is gonna be. I've always grown up very, very active. I've played so many different sports, basketball being the main one. I'm naturally like a small, like petite person. I kind of stayed consistently just like small and petite my whole life. Never had to worry about what I ate. And honestly, I have like a really big appetite. Yeah, just growing up, like when you're younger, you have a faster metabolism and stuff, and you're just not worried about what you eat in body image as much. I mean, some people do, but thankfully for me, that wasn't the case. But yeah, I was just very active in sports. Never like a time of the year when I wasn't involved in like sports and extracurriculars. Fitness wasn't even like a thing to me. It was just, I enjoyed playing sports. I never really looked at it as something physique wise, like I wasn't really worried about my body at all. That's the background of like, I didn't really have to think about it much. So fast forward to college. I think college is when a lot of people, as cliche as it may be, get that freshman 15 or whatever. It's when a lot of people fitness journeys may start to begin because you may realize that you've gained weight just by lifestyle in general. Like it's a big lifestyle change, especially if you're in dorms. It's kind of bound to happen that you put on a little bit of weight. A lot of things just change. You may get more stressed. But for me, my experience in college, I did not continue to play basketball on the team or nothing like that. Intramurals for like less than a year. Like oh my gosh, I tried to do intramural and I was gonna do that it was either my freshman or my sophomore year, but that team man, it was just not working out. Don't want to bash anybody, I know it was supposed to be for fun, but it was literally like trash, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this. That's a quick aside, but basically, yeah, I say all that to say I tried to do intramurals during college. It didn't work. I was getting busy with other school stuff, work, and yeah, I was starting to work a lot more. So because it was such like a different lifestyle change, and I still knew that being active was such a fun part of what I did, and I just knew I couldn't just sit around and go to school, come back, and not be moving my body. The house that I was in, my roommates and I, we all came from like active backgrounds in high school. A lot of us knew each other, so we would have days where we would go to this to the school campus gym, which was like really small. Didn't have much equipment, but it had just enough. In high school, let me backtrack. So in high school, while in basketball and in other sports and stuff like that, we did have times where we would go and have to do weightlifting sessions. I hated weightlifting. Literally anybody who knows me in middle school and high school knew that that was my least favorite part of like PE unit or during basketball season when we would have to do our weightlifting. Like it was just so boring to me. I don't know if anybody could relate, but I just was the type of person that I would rather just go outside on the track and run or be on the court. Like sitting there and doing bicep curls was just not doing it for me. It was just so boring. I would not look forward to that. Doing the bare minimum. Like my coach would come over and be like, girl, you know you can lift more than that. Yeah, just didn't try very hard. I didn't enjoy it. I had like literally no upper body strength, even though I was an athlete. Like, I say all of that to give you some context and some background of where I was coming from. I really had no love for the gym at all. So it's really ironic how things evolve and change, because yeah, I was just not that person. I was not a gym rat whatsoever. We're back in college. This is so like freshman year, like I said, I dabbled in like intramurals, went to the school on campus gym every now and then whenever my roommates would go, and we kind of, you know, just go whenever we could. And then we also had like our little apartment gym. That one was even smaller than the campus gym. Had like a little fob key and you could go in at any time. I would do that occasionally, but whenever I did go, and my roommates and everybody else would probably laugh at me, but whenever I did go, I was one of those people that stuck to the treadmill or the bike, because all I did. Even my roommates would like encourage me sometimes, like, do you want to this time, are you gonna lift with us? And occasionally I would jump into like when they started doing little circuits, because I just found that more fun for me. But other than that, I went to the gym and never really picked up a weight. Now I look back on that and like, how did I do that? That must have been so boring. It sounds so boring, but at the time it really wasn't. Also, I would just like watch YouTube videos or Netflix or whatever while I was on the treadmill or on the bike. Time would go by pretty quickly. So yeah, this is the time that my cardiovascular health was probably really good. But yeah, I didn't do much else. There's a City Sports that was next to, literally like almost next door to where I was working at the time. My roommates started working there along with one of my ex-coworkers that was working there as well. It's around the time where I finally gave in and got an actual gym membership. It took a lot out of me, because yes, I was finally getting like a steady income with these paychecks. I had like a regular job now, so I could like afford the monthly expense, but at the same time I really didn't want the monthly expense. Up until that point, I really didn't have to pay anything. Like I didn't have much bills to pay. Yeah, so it took a lot out of me. Finally convinced me to get the membership, and I did. And that's kind of when my love for the gym started to sprout. I was going a lot more consistently anytime that I would pretty much get a chance, whether it was after work or right before work. Also cool because my roommates, we were able to establish a kind of routine, and sometimes I would get to go like on after hours, like after I'd get off of work really late at like 10:30 or 11 or something, and it would be really, really cool because nobody else was there. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention that, but shout out to him because he hooked it up. And I kind of just started to establish a routine, going like at least 5 times a week probably. And I really started to see like changes in my body at this point. Like I said, I wasn't really working towards something. I didn't really know what I was doing. I finally muscled up the courage to go and touch weights and go over to the weight section, because I would avoid it at all costs while I was there. I finally did, and realized that it's not as scary as you think. A lot of times it's a lot easier if you go with somebody else and you could kind of just mimic what they do. But eventually, just as time went on and I was just by myself going after work every day or before work every day, it kind of just got easier and easier. To do that, you start to see changes, and once you start to see changes, you get more motivated. And this is when like the fitness industry of like YouTube and all the fitness influencers started to kind of really bloom. I would do more research online and just see how other people are doing things, how they were handling different gym equipment. Just kind of learn from there. Yeah, I think even when I would come and visit back home, I think that's when my family kind of started to notice like, oh my gosh, is she in the backyard lifting weights? And that's when it was kind of more noticeable. Like people were like, oh, so she really out here about that life. It's always an interesting thing to see your changes, not just physically, but where the people around you are starting to notice. Yeah, it just started to become a thing, and then before you knew it, it was just something regular that they would just expect. Eventually I started to just be more comfortable with not only just being in the gym, but working out wherever. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, I said that I had a city sports gym membership, but I also canceled that after my school's gym opened up. They were like under construction for a while, and that was free. It was free, like we already paid for that within our tuition. It was a really, really cool gym that I still miss to this day. That also motivated me a lot because it was just a good environment and it was so new and cool. I didn't really like plan out anything or script anything on this video, so it's jumping around a little bit. It's because this is just me spilling it out and I didn't really have much structure to it. So when I officially like finished college and was back home, I obviously got a membership that was out here, and so that's when Planet Fitness came along. Cost wise, Planet Fitness, it was just a smart decision for me, I think, personally, and then I just continued to go more regularly. That's all I really need to say in terms of like background and context. This video might be really long, oh my gosh, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you guys some context of where I kind of came from up until being like a gym person, like a gym rat that always is like in the gym, all about weightlifting, all that good stuff. There's so many little other bits and pieces to the story and to the fitness journey and health journey, lifestyle journey that goes into that. So if you want to see like a more in-depth fitness journey video, then just let me know in the comments or by giving this video a like. Everything was going good, you know. I was just going to the gym regularly, going to Planet Fitness. Generally, if I wanted to do an outside workout, I would do an outside workout. It was just something that was just so second nature and just was in my routine every day. Everything, you know, was getting good. We were at a good routine. I was like kind of used to it. I was content with it. The people at the gym were really cool. I had started to kind of form a relationship and people knew me, and like all the workers were really cool. And then, you know what happened. We entered a state of lockdown. We all got like the text or the notification or email that the world was temporarily shutting down for 2 weeks or whatever it was. Literally, I remember that exact day and how I had just literally came back from the gym. I didn't even want to go to the gym that day, but glad I did. I got one good last workout out of it, and I got the news that they would be locking down for what at the time was 2 weeks. And then, as you guys all know how the story unfolds, 2 weeks turned into 2 more weeks, and then turned into a couple more months, and then it was like, okay, we're just on this thing until further notice, pretty much. But yeah, man, like as far as everything that's been going on in the world, all things considered, I've been just trying to, you know, keep doing what I do and stay positive. Obviously taking a lot of precautions, like I'm taking it seriously. You know, like you could only control, you know, what you do. There, like, because I was in the mindset of that it was all temporary, I wasn't really tripping on it. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't scared that I was gonna like lose progress or anything like that. I had still some little bit of weights, like little plates and dumbbells at home. And yeah, because I just was like, okay, it's gonna be for right now, something temporary. I didn't really start investing into the equipment. I just kind of went back to being outside. The weather was nice, so I was just taking advantage, full advantage of just working out outside. Plenty of parks that we have in our neighborhood, so I would just kind of go there and do my workouts, sometimes go to the track. Because we were all kind of like in the same boat, and you know, everybody was ordering things online and they were selling out like this. Like I didn't really think to like get any equipment. It wasn't even on my mind to start investing in like a home gym type of thing. And that's kind of what birthed the conditioning days on Sundays. So today is conditioning day. We're out here on the track. Gonna warm up a little bit. How you feeling? Tired. Just kind of over time start to build a community that just kind of goes every week. Yeah, so that's how the Sunday conditioning days were kind of born. And it's crazy that it's been pretty much a year since we've started doing that. Yeah, even with the opening of the gym again, it's just something that I want to continue to upkeep because it's just something that's been working out. And so yeah, I guess that brings me to some things that I realized after being out of the gym for a year. One of the things being that I realized that it's important to still kind of try to stick to some sort of regimen, some sort of routine. Keeps me feeling like I'm on track. That I'm a big believer in use what you got. I'm always saying, you know, just use whatever you got. It was working out for a minute, just using whatever home weights that we had left over in the backyard. But eventually I did realize that because this didn't have any real date end in sight, that it was important for me to start investing in a little bit more equipment, maintain the progress, because I had been doing so well in the gym and I didn't want it to feel like I was just kind of letting all that go to waste. I still wanted to feel like I was able to lift heavy. It didn't have to be as heavy, but there's only so many Chloe Teen workouts that you could do before you're like, okay, I want to do something else. It's all great. Like, I know not everybody has the opportunity to have a backyard gym. It's all great, but at some point down the line I realized, okay, I'm kind of getting bored of this and doing these little workouts, body weight or just whatever little resistance bands that I had. Time to invest in a squat rack and start like getting little bitty pieces of equipment here and there. If getting a squat rack or weightlifting or doing heavy lifting in general is not something that's like super important to you in your fitness and your wellness and your everyday life, and you're just more of a person that as long as they're just staying active, that's good enough for you, and just then that's completely okay, and you don't have to worry about, you know, investing in something. Just, you know, prioritize what matters to you. And for me, that was something that eventually I had to give into and prioritize, because it was something that actually was important to me. A lot of people have helped from then, and just getting things secondhand or getting things passed down, which I'm super, super grateful for. So it has helped tremendously. Just the whole process of like, you know, kind of slowly building up that backyard gym has helped me realize like, okay, you can actually still get a good workout in at home, and you don't necessarily need a gym for everything. It just kind of gives you some perspective of like things that we think are so essential, but there's always a way around it. And then another thing, I kind of touched on it a little bit in a previous video of something that I missed of being at the gym, and that is just sometimes you fall into like workout ruts, and the workouts that you were once excited to do, you're just not feeling it as much. Like you're just not feeling, maybe you're not feeling challenged enough, or you are still feeling challenged, but you're just finding yourself not motivated to even go up and do it. I feel like we all, maybe you could relate, have like come to that point in some part during this past year of not feeling super motivated to do it. One thing that I do miss about the gym is just being in that environment. There's something about being in that environment with like all this endless equipment and just seeing other people do their thing and work out, that you feel more motivated to go harder. I don't know, it's just some more motivating space. There is like a study that I remember hearing about in school of like people, when they feel like they're being watched, they go harder, or they put more effort into it. If I find it, then I'll link it, but I can't really remember the specifics of it. It was basically like this experiment that they did of like people, where they position treadmills in the gym to where if they put it where there's people like that they feel are looking at them, they'll be more inclined to work harder on the treadmill or run faster or whatever. Yeah, I guess there is some sort of backing to that. But yeah, it's just something that I noticed. There are days that I still do get a really good workout and I'm super motivated and I could just throw on the music and knock it out and feel great about it. And then there are other days where I just cut it mid-workout and I'm just like, I'm wasting time because I'm not really feeling it today, so I'm gonna just try again tomorrow. Another thing, I am really glad that I was able to save a little money on that monthly gym subscription, even though it wasn't a lot. I feel really good to have that not be an expense to pay every month, which is one of the reasons why I'm like considering, do I even need to go back? In terms of like how I work out, what has changed over the past year. When I was going to the gym, I feel like I was doing more normal gym sort of workouts, very typical style of workout. Every day would be focused on a certain body group. Whereas now I feel like what's changed being without the gym is that I could still have those days dedicated to a certain body group, but I feel like I've been incorporating a lot more just full body type of workouts, and I think it's kind of liberating because I kind of just am very intuitive and just take the approach of whatever I feel like doing. Like literally some days I'll just go outside and mess around and not really have any structure to it and just do whatever feels good. I start to get bored. Like I'll get really bored really easily when it comes to working out, so I always like to change things up. I think that's one of the big things that have changed. Not necessarily what I do and like the sort of movements that I do, because I still do a lot of the same gym movements, but just in terms of how it's organized. I feel like I do less cardio, even though you guys see me doing like these conditioning days. That one day of the week is usually the only day that I'm doing like cardio. The only other form of cardio that I will do is taking my morning walk, kind of more just a thing for like feeling good and like mental health than it is about like fitness. Physique wise and body wise, I don't really know if much has changed. I don't feel like much has changed, but then there are times when you look at like old pictures or little Snapchat memories where you're like, ooh, my biceps were a little bit big. But honestly, I feel like at this point my body is like fluctuating all the time. I'm probably more motivated to be active when it's like bright and good weather outside, and I probably do lean out a little bit more. The more winter, fall type of seasons, we're less inclined to like be as active, and I just think that's natural. I do feel like I lost a little bit of strength from like my peak time that I was like in the gym, because there was that one point where I had made it a goal to be able to do 10 pull-ups, because like I said, I used to have no upper body strength, so doing that, like even doing 2 pull-ups was like, it was tough. I was like really proud when I was able to get up to that goal of like having a working set of doing 10 pull-ups, being back home and not being as focused on it as much. Like right now, currently to this present day, I probably could hit about on a really good day, maybe 7 or 8. So I think there has been like a little minor loss of strength in some areas, but it's also like if you don't focus on it and that's not something that's your goal, then you're not gonna get better, obviously. So not any like real visible change, I would say, too much. It's a little bit harder for yourself to notice it when you're in your own body. So I think other people could probably notice it a little bit better if there is a drastic change. But for me personally, there's not any like significant big drastic change that I have seen, whether it's weight loss or weight gain. Very common for people to gain or lose during this time. Whichever way your journey has been, that's completely fine and normal. You shouldn't feel any shame about that whatsoever, because this is another complete lifestyle change, as I was talking about previously. Maybe you started off really strong at the start and kind of declined and then got back up a few times, and maybe you went back and forth a few times, who knows. It's more focused on like progress and not losing too much strength and not just falling off completely. Basically, I was just trying to kind of maintain. I just had to become okay with that, okay with the fact that like this is what life is right now, this is where we're at. So just do things for fun and do things for your own enjoyment and mental health. And if the physical changes come with it, that's totally fine. I know it's easier said than done. I know it's not just an easy mindset to have. And there are days where, you know, especially closer to that time of the month where your body is fluctuating a little more, holding more water weight, where you're like, oh my gosh, like this is not a good body image day or whatever. All you can do at the end of the day is just do your best and try your best and enjoy the process. As annoying as that sounds, even saying that is so annoying. Also, I just want to take a moment to reminisce and appreciate the time around the start of the quarantine where we had all those push-up challenge and the pull-up challenges and all these random like Instagram challenges. So yeah, I don't really know the purpose of this and the moral of this whole chatty video about, you know, this 1-year anniversary. Ew. Kind of weird to call it that. I just figured I'd kind of just talk about it, and if anything, just to kind of give people reassurance that, you know, it's an ongoing process and don't feel bad about wherever you're at. So yeah, that's my spiel. Will I be going back to the gym? I kind of brushed on it earlier. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go and see what it's like. I know, because everything's gonna be so different, especially working out like with the mask. Out of curiosity, see what it's like and see where I am and what's changed, and like see just where my body is at with everything. So I definitely will again like step foot in there. I don't know if it's going to be something that I will keep the membership with and still like have my home gym that I work out with and just only go there occasionally. Yeah, I really don't know. I guess you guys will find out in later vlogs and whatever. I know this video must be super long, so if you stayed to the end, then thank you. I appreciate you. Go ahead and give it a like. Subscribe if you want to continue on this journey of me and see more. I think that's going to be it for today. I will see you in the next video. Peace.